This is a 3D live stream, and in this live stream, I'm gonna talk about Maya user interface. So I created this stream to create tutorials for beginners, especially. Sometimes it can be used for intermediate, but it will be for absolute beginner. So I'll be teaching you guys Maya, Max, ZBrush, Mari, Nuke, Photoshop, Models Designer, After Effects, and V-Ray. Um, I'm a beginner in After Effects, and in other softwares, I would say I'm an intermediate. So hopefully, I can share some tips with you guys, and it helps you to improve your modeling to the next level. So before starting, I'm gonna be doing two parts in this part one, my user interface. So the first 30 minutes, I'll be talking about uh, how to work in Maya, like going through the user interface, how to like move around, how can create a geo. When I say geo, it's a geometry, so stuff like that. And let's get started. Okay, so I'm gonna grab Maya. I have 2015. It doesn't matter whatever version you have, and I'm listening to Godfather because I'm a big fan of that movie. I wish I can do Godfather voice, but I'm horrible and bad at it. So my Maya's loading. And by the way, like a little background about me, I've been working in the movie studio in the industry for at least 3 years now. I worked on a lot of movies and TV shows. Recently, I worked on Expanse, and I worked on all the spaceships. The main one, it's called Rossi, and another one is called Canterbury. So if you guys watch that show, oh, it's my work is there. So anyway, so this is Maya. Once you open Maya, this is how it's gonna look like. So this there's something here. It's called the grid. It's called the grid. It's called the perspective grid. So to work on this grid, it's like to move around. You just hold on Alt and middle mouse, and you go this side, or you can go up and down. And to zoom in and zoom out, you can use the mouse wheel, the middle mouse, or else you can do alt, hold on alt, and you right click and zoom in and zoom out. So either one works, but I usually use the middle mouse button. That's really easy for me to do it. So that's about how to move around and how to work in the interface. Um, this is called work area in Maya. So there are four views in Maya. So once I hit space, boom. So now you see like four views. It's called the panel layouts. So you can also click this. Okay, I'll show it again. So I'm pressing space on the perspective view. So if I press this, it's gonna show up. But I usually use shortcut space, so it's easy to use it instead of going there and clicking on it. So this is perspective view, and this is the top view, and this is the front view, and this is the side view. And if you have some engineering background, you will know about it, or if you have used any other 3D softwares, it also be easy for you as well. So what are the side view, the front view, and the top view? So I'm gonna create a basic cube there. So when I say, like, if you take this perspective grid, so if I go and click on this, see, it's exactly on the top view. So what Maya is showing, okay, this is the top view, and this is the orthographic view of this cube. And this on the side, if I select this side, you see the side of the cube. And if I press here, if you see, it's the front. So this is the side. You're seeing, the camera is seeing from this side, and the camera is seeing from the top view, and the camera is seeing from the front view. So that's all about the panel layout. So if you want to go into any of these views, you can go click once and press space, or else you can go here, press space. You don't have to click on it, you just move the cursor to the appropriate view and press space. So boom, it's right there. It's that easy. So you can do the same operations here as well. You can hold on Alt and move up and down and zoom in. That's a two operation you can do. You can't rotate it because this is a side view and the camera is locked, but whereas in perspective view you can rotate around. So this will be quite useful when I show how to model. So if you're intermediate, please don't watch this video, and it will be pretty boring and you'll be feeling like punching your screen. So this is especially for the beginners. I'm doing this and so that they can learn something out of it. So I'm going here. So now we have an idea how to work on the user interface and how to change the views and everything. And next, this is the three tools which is widely used in Maya. So this is for move, and this is rotate as a sphere, and this is scale. So whenever you go in Maya, like if you go through a menu, it's gonna say like a pop-up shows up, and it says like it's a lasso tool. So lasso is like same as in Photoshop, and this is a brush tool. I never use this tool, pen selection tool, sorry, but I never use this. Sometimes I barely use it. So move, rotate, and scale. This is a widely used operation in Maya, I would say. And okay, so I'm gonna grab a cube. Okay, sorry about that. There's a bit popped up. So whenever you create a cube, so in Maya it can be called as polygons or geometry. It doesn't matter. So, but in studios, in the industry, they call it as geo. So whenever you create a cube, so it's going to be there. You click one, so there's a move tool. So whenever it's a default tool is move. So you can move this side. So whenever you click, so the green is Y. This becomes yellow because I clicked on it. So if I click on the y-axis, it turns yellow. So the red is X, and the blue is Y. So sometimes, like, how do you know that? So you can also use this. See this menu here. So it says Y, Z is blue, and X is red. So whenever you click once in the move, let's say click on X, so it only moves on that side. So if I click on Y, I can move on Y. I'm hitting Control Z to go back to the same position, and Control Z. So this is Z, so I'm moving on Z. So do you see like another, like a square there? If you move that, you can move on all the axes. So if you hit Control A, so this is called channel box. So whenever you move a polygon in the grid, it's gonna show the axis which you moved. Let's say I moved like 2 inches. I think I'm working on centimeters or inches, I'm not sure. I believe it's centimeters, so I moved 2 centimeters or 3 centimeters now. So it shows up here. So you can also input your values. Let's say if I hit 0, it goes the exact position. If I put 0 here, it goes there, and I'm typing 0 there. So translate is move. So you can also move from here too. You can type in value, or else you can use your mouse wheel, the middle mouse, and click once, and you can go up and down. Same thing on Y2. So you can go, it goes on Y, and it also goes on Z as well. So you can also, let's say I want to change everything to 0. Instead of putting like going and punching in 0 0 0, you select everything and type 0. Boom, there you go. So you can also manipulate rotate values here and rotate values here, and you can also do the scale value here as well. So now we look in the move tool. So now you want to see the rotate. So rotate is the same thing. If I click on one axis, it's going to turn yellow, so it's going to be only moving on that axis. So if I click on the x-axis, so it's going to be only on. I did something there. So if I click on the x-axis, it's going to be going on the x-axis alone. So if I click on y, it's going to be going on y. So I'm just going Control Z. So if I click the blue one, so it's going to be rotating on all the axes. So if you see the values, everything is messed up now. So same thing. I wanna put the same position. So it's 0. Boom. So okay. So like sometimes if you're here, like you want to, so all the time you don't want to zoom in. There is something called the zoom extent. So if I, so it's called focus. So if you hit F, it's gonna be show up closer to you. Boom. It's that easy. So let's say now you like instead of zooming in several times, you just press F. It's gonna show up. So F for focus. So don't like you can remember now. Focusing closer. So now I'm gonna go about how to do. Now I'm going to check how to do. So there are three modes in Maya. So vertex or vertices, or face, and edge. So to whenever you select a polygon, it's gonna be green. So this is called object mode in Maya. So when you're in component mode, component mode, it will be okay. So it will be on the vertices mode. Like if I, so this is object mode, and if I click on component mode, it changes to vertices. It 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 can also be called as a vertex or vertices. So it doesn't matter. So I'm gonna call it as vertices, so it's easy for me. So I have to go to object mode again, so it changes to object mode. So to hover or through this modes, to change to this modes, the easy way to do is like you right click and the menu pops up. So you can go on vertices or vertex, or right click and you can go on edge, or you can go on face. So this is most commonly used modes to manipulate your polygons. So let's go one by one. So I'm going to vertices or vertex. So this one, what it does is just a point. What is the polygon made of? So it's like I'm just moving this point. So if you see, the cube is totally changed. So if I select two vertices, I'm clicking once, I'm holding on shift and selecting that one, and I'm moving it. So it kind of looks like a shape now. So same thing. So I'm doing it really fast, so I'm really used to it. So if I click vertices, so then you select everything, or else you can select on this and this, and you can move. So if you see, there's a shape, I'm just moving it again. Boom. Isn't it cool? So I'm just hitting Control Z. So now we can go to edge mode. So if you right click and you can go on edge, it's right there. Edge is nothing but it's the same thing, but it's like how the object is created. Like as its name means, it's an edge. So you can manipulate any edges you want. You can also select multiple edges the same way I told you, like holding on to shift. So if you see, if I select this two, and it's gonna be giving a weird shape. So if I'm gonna select that one, so if you see, it's a really good shape. So the safe face, now the face mode. So if I hit, if I right click and go to face mode, so that's the face of the cube. Like you can literally drag the cube however you want. So when I'm rotating, I'm using Alt and left mouse button. I'm just hovering over it. Yeah, there you go. So these are the three modes we're going to be using in Maya whenever we model something. So so now we learned how to move in Maya, rotate, scale, and the three modes we can manipulate the polygons. So now I'm going to show you how to create basic primitives. So to create basic primitives, like there are tabs here in Maya. I think this is called main menu or shelf. These are called shelf tabs in Maya. So I'm going to the polygon. So that's the only thing we'll be working on. So if you see, this is a sphere and this is a cube. When I click a cylinder, it's going to create exactly in the world space 000. So sometimes when you install Maya, if you go to create, you can also create all the primitives from here as well. So do you see I unchecked interactive creation. Why I did that, I'm going to show you. So I'm going to check it again. So if I want to create a sphere, so it doesn't create exactly on the world space, but it says like drag on the grid. So I'm clicking and dragging it, so it's going to create a shape for me now. So the same thing, if I want to create a cube, so it's going to say like how big the base you want. So I'm going to say like that's the size of the base I want, and click once and you drag up the height. So this other way to do it, but I prefer creating in the world space. It's easier for me because like it exactly creates on 000. But if you see this polygons, this geometry of the polygons have different values, so I can change it manually, but I think it would be easier to do it by turning off interactive creation. Or else if you find it would be easy for you, you can do it as well, so it's up to you. So I'm going to, how to do that is go to create polygon primitive interactive actions. So you can create all primitives, like we'll be using all the primitives here. You can also create a polygon torus and pyramid, and there's a pipe, and we'll go through this menu once we go in advanced tutorials. So I want to show you something. Whenever I create something, like see, I have a polygon, and this whenever I select an object, the channel box would be showing up here on the side. Or sometimes you might have this. This is called the attribute editor. So we will go through this once we go in advanced modeling tutorials. I never touch this, I never use it, so I don't have to worry about it. But like whenever you create a cube or any polygon primitives, it will be assigned to Lambert 1. So this is a default shader assigned to any of the geos created in Maya. So now I have this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to hit Control A, so you can change through attribute editor as well as channel box editor. But if you don't want it, you can delete it, but then you have to go and bring it back from here. But I assume that you have that. But if you don't have it, so you go to display, show, and where is it? Or UI elements, and you say whatever you want. So it's gonna be, where's the channel box? UI elements. Oh yeah, here it is. So if you don't have it, you just turn this on, and you will have it there. So I want to show you something called the inputs. Whenever I create a polygon, it have inputs. So you see the width, height, depth, subdivisions. So you can manipulate the cube from here. So if I hit 2, you see the cube has been scaled down to 2 width. So if I click 2, it's going to do the same thing. 2, if I hit T, depth. So you can manipulate all the values from here, or else you can use the middle mouse or the mouse wheel to manipulate it. So this so you can easily manipulate the height or width or the depth. So you can also, subdivision axes are nothing but how many subdivisions you want. So I'm adding like 5. Okay, so I'm gonna do it on the height. So I'm gonna do 3, and I'm just clicking on and using my mouse wheel and holding it, and I'm going sidewise, go like right to left. So now I have a sphere. So you can use this. Sometimes I don't use it, but like if you want to learn it, so that's how the cubes are created. So I'm gonna say 1 and 1. I'm changing everything to 1. So sometimes it will be really useful to make a shape. So you can do this to all the primitives here. Let's say if I'm creating a cylinder, so it's gonna have the input, so you can change the radius of the cylinder or height of the cylinder from this point and subdivision axis. You can also go to the scale tool and everything, you can do it, but you can also do it this way too. And whichever finds easier for you, just go for it. The caps are nothing but the top part of the cylinder. I usually turn it off because I can create a shape from this point of view, but it doesn't matter. So So I'll show you, what caps are used for. So it's easy to create a shape because like now you see, now you have like a ring. Okay, so there are some primitives are in here. So what do you have to do? If you go to polygon primitives, and they also have prism here, but it doesn't have here, and you can also have pipes. Pipe is here, so we are not worried about it. But sometimes I use um, what is it? Helix. So helix are nothing but springs. You can make springs easily instead of like doing it manually. So you can change the height. You can manipulate the height, the width, and the radius. See, and you can also fix your subdivision coils, and the caps is nothing but there. And you can also how many coils you want. So let's say you're doing 20 and you want to expand it like that. And with see, you made us the spring really fast instead of like modeling it from scratch. I think not that many people know about the spring option. It's called helix in Maya. So you go to create and polygon primitive, and you grab it from here. And you can also make soccer ball as well. So yeah, there you go, my soccer ball is done. So you don't have to sit and model the soccer ball. And they also have another primitives called platonic solids. It's nothing but a solid but like when you see like my view, it's kind of like so soft. My polygons are really soft. I don't know, like my I think my viewport is kind of like messed up. So if you want to see the art part of this, there is something called normals. So if you add an edge, so now if you see, that looks pretty good. Like that shape is really pretty cool. So normals are nothing but I'm gonna show you discuss about normals. So if you see there is a stepping happening in the cylinder. So if you go to normals, if I soften edge, so if you see now this cylinder is really soft. I don't see the stepping edges that much. Like if I go to normals, out an edge, you can see all the parts of each faces of the cylinder in a flat surface. So normals are like, and sometimes when you create objects, the normals are flipped. It will be black. So what you have to do is you have to go to normal, reverse. There you go. So you get it back. So normals are I'll okay. So once we get into modeling, I'm gonna show you some, like if you go through some blah, tongue twister. So when we do modeling, if there anything comes up about normals, I'm gonna teach you about that. So now I wanna talk about um, wireframes. So wireframes. Okay, so uh, you can view the polygons or the geometry in I think 4 modes. So if you see here, there's a box here. If you click on it, it's a wireframe. So you can see the polygons in a wireframe, like it's a transparent. And this is called a shading. That's a default one. And the other one is called wireframe on shaded. I usually turn this on wireframe on shaded because I can see the geo exactly. And this is texturing, but we don't have any texture, so it's not showing up. So I'm gonna so the the mode should be either one of those. So if it's in shading mode, it will be in the shading mode. If it's in wireframe, it can be in the wireframe. It can be in any one of the mode. Like it can be wireframe unshaded and wireframe, or it can be shaded and can be wireframe unshaded. So you can also manipulate from the shading menu as well. So if you see wireframe, um, a smooth shade, flat shade, and I think it doesn't matter. So we can wireframe, and you can also do X-ray as well. So you can still see the geo, but it's kind of like an X-ray. Uh, this is uh, this is widely used when you're modeling characters. So X-ray joints, it's used for um, when you do rigging. So I actually keep on wireframe unshaded. So if you want to manipulate your the shading, the shading, the shading settings, you just go to wireframe, shading, and wireframe unshaded. I'm just gonna drink some water now. I'm going really fast because it's going to be really boring sometimes. So that's why I'm going really fast so people don't get bored. And the one more thing I want to talk about is like whenever you do any operation in Maya, let's say I'm going to move this, or else let's say I'm going to normal soften edge. So whenever I create an operation, so Maya gonna have an history. So whatever I did there, but you can have this history, and sometimes it slows off if you have a lot of history on it. Um, so it will keep on adding. I'm just adding some edges. So if you see, it's kind of saying poly split ring 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it keep on adds it. Like if you have more histories, it's gonna slow up your modeling process. Sometimes it's useful to have certain history to manipulate your. If you did something wrong, and you can go back and put some value in it. So I can also change it from here as well. So I can go here. I can't change anything here right now. So I'll show you like once we get back to modeling. So that's what happens whenever you create something. It's gonna have the history here. You can also delete the history by going here, edit, delete by type history. So now I don't have anything. Um, so what happens is it just adds the history so that you can go back and fix anything you want. So you can also go back by Control Z, but it goes all the way back. Just hit Control Z as much as you want. So Maya, so Maya goes back to a certain extent. You can also increase this undo by in the settings by going to preferences, and if you go to setting, I believe no, it's undo. So I set queue size to 50, so you can change to 100. But what happens is it's gonna take a lot of memory in your computer, and it's gonna be slow. So 50 is a good default size for Maya. So you can go Control Z to go back. If you want to go forward, you can do Shift Z, or you can go to Edit or Redo. So I don't have any operation, so it's not showing up to do anything. So you can also repeat in. If you go to edit, you can repeat the split, the operation you did, or you can press G to repeat it as well. So you don't have to go and do that. G as in Gary. So to repeat an operation. So now we have some knowledge how to move around, how to create basic polygons, and everything. So now I'm going to show you certain tools which can be used to make your modeling faster and easier to do that. So I'm creating a cube. So mesh tools. In 2015, Maya, what they did, they had before the tools. These tools, all the tools here, has been in mesh, not like in edit mesh. So all the tools, it was in the edit mesh, but now in 2015, Maya implemented mesh tools separately. So I'm gonna go through each one of them separately. So the first one is append polygon tool. What append polygon tool does is, let's say if you have a hole like in a polygon, so you go to mesh tools. So I'm just clicking it here. So if you want to have this this menu to have somewhere here, so you click on the dotted arrow, the dotted lines, so it shows up. So I'm going to append polygon tool. and click once, and it's gonna have this four pink arrows. So I'm just clicking here once, boom, it's done. So let's say I have something like here and here. So now if I have upper polygon tool, if I click here, if you see, it just goes, you have to make a surface from this side. So I'm clicking here, and if you see, it didn't close everything, because what's happening, it's calculating from this point to this point. So once you select, you press Y, and you press G to repeat the action again, and you click and click here, and press Y, click and click here. If you click somewhere else, it's gonna have this problem, so you have to click exactly on the same edge. So now it fills the surfaces. What Append Polygon does is it just closes the surfaces, and it will be it's really a useful tool when you're modeling in Maya. So bevel tool. So the bevel tool is nothing but, so let's say I'm selecting this edge and I'm clicking bevel tool. If you see, it's kind of beveled it, the edge, so you can offset it from that point. I'm just clicking right click, I'm just doing a left click, and I'm just moving to see the options. But I usually don't do this way, and I do a different way. So bevel is nothing but to bevel edge. So you can bevel from all the sides, and you can, like, if you see, whenever I did a bevel, it has the history. So now you can also go and manipulate the bevel from there too. So I'm just adding some segments here, so you can have like a rounded surface here. And the first bevel we had was here, that's called as bevel 1. So you can also change the offset, the fraction, like how big you want it, and you can also add segments here as well. So that's bevel. So especially to create some hard surface or else smooth surface along the edges. So okay, so now that is done, the next one is called bridge tool. So I'm just hitting control. No, I'm just going to delete it. So I'm going to add some subdivisions to let's say. So bridge tool is nothing but, so if you want to do, you can also do Append Polygon tool, and you have to do it manually. Then you have to create an edge, and you have to connect everything together. The bridge tool, what it does, it bridges all the edges. Okay, so to do that, so I'm selecting this one and this one, this one and this one, this one and this one. I'm holding on shift to select multiple edges. So if I hit bridge tool, it bridges everything. So you can also so what's happening, once the bridge is selected, it's asking how many segments you want. I'm just going with one, and I'm pressing enter. So now I bridged it easily. So the bridge only works. Okay, I'm gonna use Append Polygon tool again, and how do I? Okay, let's see. So now, so when the bridge tool to work, you should have equal edges. Let's say if I have something like that, and if I say bridge, it's not gonna do it. Whereas if I see, so it should be equal. So I have one edge and one edge, one edge and one edge. So if I hit bridge now, it's gonna join everything together. And one more thing, you can also, so I'm gonna use Append Polygon tool and close this gap. So instead of selecting one by one, you can also double click on an edge, so it selects everything. And I'm using control and deselecting these edges. If you want to select it, you can add you can hold down shift and you select it, you control and you unclick it. So now you can go to bridge. So now if you see, now we made that surface, but if I hit 3, See, this is joined properly. I'm going to be the wireframe unshaded. So if you see here, it's kind of weird. Something happened because these vertices are not merged. So that's why it's happening. So to merge the vertices, you go to vertices mode by right clicking vertices, and you select all the vertices, and you go to mesh, edit mesh, and where's merge vertices? I couldn't find it here, guys. Oh, okay. So merge. It's a merge vertex tool. There are no merge vertices. So okay. So merge vertices. How to do is you just select everything, or the area where you wanna merge the vertices, and you hold on Shift, right click, and you see merge vertices, and you go there and merge vertices. So now if you see the smooth version of this cube, it's joined together. I'm going to show it to you again. This might be tricky. So go to vertices mode, select this part, and hold on Shift or right click, merge vertices, and don't select anything else. You just do merge vertices, and boom, it's done. So yeah, that's how you do it. The bridge tool. So the connect tool is same as Append Polygon tool. I never use the tool, so I'm not going to talk about that. And the crease tool, I haven't used it too, and I think it just creates a crease, and so what it happens, it just create a key. It's actually useful in the UV tool. I'm gonna show. I'm gonna also teach you guys how to do UVs as well. So that time I'm gonna teach you the crease tool, the connect tool. I have no idea. I've never used the tool. So anyway, I'm gonna try it out. Um, I don't know what it does. Whoa. It's kind of pretty cool though, right? Something happened. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened there. So anyway, I have no idea about connect tool to say frankly. And create polygon tool. This is my favorite tool in Maya. Um, so what create polygon tool does is it's basically create shapes. You just click and drag a point, and you can create a shape so fast. Boom. So now I have a shape now. So I'm hitting 3. It's going wonky because the vertices is not connected to each other. That's why it's going wonky. And this tool, you can make, like, amazing shapes. Let's say I'm going on the top view, and I'm saying, oh, I'm gonna do my name. So I'm gonna holding on Shift to have a straight line. So now you can see, like, how fast I created my initial really fast by creating the shape. Or else, like, if you want to do by the cube, it's gonna take uh, like it's gonna take a while to do that. So this would be really easy to do it. So yeah, so create polygon, like you can create anything, but make sure whenever you create something, make sure your edges are connected, or else it will go wonky. It's something like some guy, some angry guy, or something like that. I don't know. It just creates a plane, and then you have to connect it together. To connect, I'm gonna teach you guys how to do that soon. So, Okay, now we did the create polygon cut face tool, cut face tool, cut face tool. Cut face tool, as the name meaning, it just uh, cut the faces in however you want. Like, if you click, you drag, you get a line. If you let it go, it's gonna cut on the edge. And nobody, like, I've never seen a lot of people using it, but recently I've noticed that it's how amazing is this tool to create lines. I love this tool. I'm gonna show you guys like how we can use this tool in the pipeline to model faster. So there you go. So now you have something like like some kind of like a cut face cube. Okay, extrude tool. That's my favorite tool, and this is my favorite tool, and you can do amazing things with this tool. So if you click extrude, it's gonna extrude. And for some reason I don't like using these tools, going here and doing it, but I'm gonna show extrude from the older menu of Maya. So if you select a face and if you shift right click and you see extrude face, so now we get this manipulator. But whereas if you go through this tool, you won't get this. But so what exactly, it extrudes the surface, and you can also manipulate. Isn't it cool? So you can also go bananas with this, and yeah, there you go. And you can also rotate it as well. Like if you click on here and it rotates, and this changes the manipulators. When you change the manipulator, it goes center of this polygon. But if you click on the manipulator again, it works on from this surfaces. And you can also change the divisions from here. You can also do the offset from here as well, and thickness as well. Thickness is like the height here. So if you have something like that, I'm going to scale it. And if you hit G again, it's going to do it again, and you can create a shape from it. And if you hit G, and you can keep on making shapes. There you go. It's kind of like a pillar now. So if I hit G, G, I'm hitting G to repeat the action. So now we have something, see like how fast I create this shape. So extrude tool. So I'm gonna show it again. So you go to face, shift, right click, extrude face. Okay, that's what it does. So extrude tool. So insert edge loop tool. This is another tool, you'll be using it quite often. So insert edge loop tool is nothing but if you click and you can drag, put the edge anywhere you want. So in Maya, this is used for putting supporting edges. When I say supporting edges, when I hit 3, Maya going to go on a smoothed version. So if you see at the bottom, it goes really wonky. But whereas if I have this insert edge, I have a supporting loops here, like supporting edges. If I hit 3, if you see, it retains that shape, but it smoothed it, but it retained that shape. I'm going to show it again. Insert edge loop. So if I have 2 edges, or if I'm going to 3, see, it just maintained that shape. So if I, so this other way I work really fast when I model. So if you are in edge mode, and if you right click, shift right click, no, so if you're in object mode and shift right click, and you get the insert edge loop tool here as well, and you also get the cut face tool and append polygon tool as well. So I usually do this way. This is easier for me. Or else you can also have it here, and you can do it as well. It's up to you guys. So click once, drag here, click once, drag here, click once and drag here, click once and drag here, and if you smooth it, see, it retained all the shape. But on like in the front side, kind of went wonky. So I'm going to add another supporting. So if I 3, boom, look at that. So now I have a smooth art surface. That looks pretty cool. So that's what Incident Loop tool does too. So it also can be used to make shapes as well. So if you create an edge here, now you go to that face and you go extrude and create some shapes from here. Okay guys, so now we understood a lot of the tools, and I'm gonna show two more tools, and I think that's what we need. I'm gonna show a slide edge tool and a multi-cut tool, and that's it. So multi-cut tool, it's called split polygon tool in Maya before. So multi-cut tool, what it does, it just create a shape. So if you click on you just click on an edge and drag it to a certain point, and you can create shapes. And you press Y to finish that shape, and I'm pressing G to get it back, and Y to finish the shape, and G to repeat the operation, and Y to finish the shape. So now if I go there, I extrude, so I can create a shape like that. It's that easy. So you can create any shape you want. So you can go crazy with it. So press G to repeat the action, finish the shape, and you can say like okay. And this doesn't make any sense, but I'm making a shape, so you can do anything. Let's say if you want to create an owl or something, so you go make sure you finish the shape. So I'm pressing Y, so now I have the shape, so I can go and delete the shape, and it's kind of like a broken piece from that. So it's called split polygon tool in other versions, but in Maya it calls multi-cut tool. So there you go. So make all tool, I never used to make all tool, so I'm not worrying about it. Multi-cut tool, I'm going to teach you about slide edge tool. So slide edge tool is nothing but slides the edges. So if you click on the slide edge tool and holding on to the middle mouse, you can go up and down. You can manipulate any edges. Let's say if I want to move this edge kind of here, so you can also do it here, but it will be useful when you do character modeling, and when we do like a lot of modeling, you'll notice that I'll use the tool and I explain it. Let's say if I want to move this a little bit down, and I go slide edge, and there you go. So yeah, you can manipulate and slide the edges accordingly. So that's it guys. So I'm gonna go really okay, so I'm gonna show you one more thing. So let's say you have something like this, and you want to close this wall. So you select all the edges, double clicking on it, and right click and say fill all. Boom, it's done. Okay, isn't it cool? So now we covered all the tools what we're going to be using for modeling. So now I'm going to do I think I went about 30 minutes. Yeah, I think so. I think it took like 45 minutes. Anyway, uh, we have like 20 minutes now, so I'm going to do like a simple demo. We're gonna do a simple demo so that we can understand all the concepts we learned. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna grab an image, but I'm gonna show you guys once I found it. I'm looking for Colgate toothpaste. That's my favorite paste. I don't know, there's an opera in my Godfather theme. I don't know why. Still, I like. Taking a long time. Don't take long time. Okay. Anyway, whew, this is the close I can get. Okay. Okay, if you see the image, this Colgate toothpaste, so I'm gonna do the shape really fast. And if you see this tube, like the Colgate tube, is made of it starts as a cylinder and it flattens at the bottom, and there's a cap towards it, and there's a shape towards it, so it's kind of connected here. Um, so I'm going to teach you guys how to model this by the concepts we learned today, so that you practice as well, so you can get used to it. So I'm going on the front view, and I'm going to grab the cylinder. So I'm doing Control A, and I'm turning off the cap. So if you see cap, so I put 0 there, so it's 0 there, and I'm clicking here and click. Okay. I selected the face, holding on to Shift, right click, extrude face, and clicking on this one, and so that I can scale it on 3 sides together. I'm seeing it's kind of close to. I'm not worrying about the proportions now, but I'll try to do close as possible. So there you go. So I'm also seeing another shape, so I'm pressing G again, and a little bit here, and I'm pressing G again, and I'm finishing the shape, and it's going inside. Okay, so now we created the top shape. So if I hit 3, it goes wonky here, here, and here. So I'm gonna add the supporting edges there. So hold on Shift, right click, insert edge loop tool. So I'm adding an edge there, edge there, edge there. So now if I do it, okay, cool. I really like the shape at the top, but here it's kind of wonky. So I'm adding edge too. I'm deleting this edge so I get a smoother transition there. So I'm going to delete the down at the bottom, and I'm going on the. So I'm holding down to Shift, which is space. So if I hit space, it goes to the side view. Okay. That is big enough. So exactly right there. So I'm going to the scale tool, and I'm just okay, we did it. It's almost there. It kind of like tightly packed. So what I'm going to do is if I hit 3, okay, so I'm going to add another edge loop here, so like a supporting edge. So it's kind of there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to join the surfaces. So what I can do is I'm going all the clicking once, double clicking on the edge entirely, and I'm going there and holding on Shift, right click, bridge tool. So it bridges everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this all. So I'm going to select everything, holding on to Shift, right click, fill all. So boom. So now if you see, now we got a good surface. What I'm going to do, I'm going to double click on this edge, and I'm going to move it slightly lower. So boom, there you go. And I'm also seeing there is some kind of like a there's something pressed there, so I'm going there. I'm going to show you guys what I'm doing now. With normal soft edge. I've noticed that if you see this shape is kind of wonky for me, so I'm going to multi-cut tool and join these edges. So now if you see the shape is there, on an edge. So now if you see, okay, so what I'm going to, I'm trying to do this shape now, so that's what I'm trying to do. So I'm also seeing the proportion wise it should be a little bit bigger here and probably skinnier. And I'm also seeing there is a bulge. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna scale it like here, because there's a bulge is happening on this side. So I'm going to add some supporting edge by insert edge loop tool. So what I did was there, I'm just adding some edge loop tools there, so it kind of looks still I think it need to be pulled a little bit up proportion wise. So now if you see, I got the shape really fast, just by my basic modeling tools. So I'm going to add some more loops here as well. So if you hold on to shift, right click and insert edge loop tool, and do you see like a square, like a like a drawing square? So if you click on it, that's called option box. So I want to create 10 equal edge loops along this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say, so in default it was like that, and you have to reset the tool and go to multiple edge loop tools and say 10, and if you go here and click on it, boom. So now if you see, it's created edges equally from this point to this point, and I said I need 10 edges, so it did that. So when I smooth it, now I have a really good looking base tube. And I'm thinking that probably I should I feel like this is a little bit fatter, because so what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep on scaling on one side to make it a little bit fat. So now if I smooth it, boom, it's there. So now we created the shape. So now what I'm going to do is this is the front view. So if I want to make this shape, so if you see, there's a quite a lot of detail. So okay, so I'm going to, but this is the basic shape, so it's easy to do it. So it's going to be like a cylinder. So what I'm going to do, go away. Okay, I'm going to create a cylinder so it exactly comes at the center, and I'm going it 4 for wireframe, or else you can go here and wireframe here and keep on scaling it down, and it kinda sits right there. Let's, okay, because there's a gap there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click here, Control A, go to cap 0. I'm going to face, delete the bottom, delete the top. I'm going to vertices and make that shape now. So if I go on the perspective view, this is a little bit bigger, so I'm going to kind of like that. Okay, that's where it stops. Okay, so I'm right there. So what I'm going to do, this. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to Control D and move one along, because I want to create another shape as well. So this is the shape I'm waiting for. I'm also extruding there as well. I'm going to the shading one, and I'm going shift right click, insert edge loop tool. Oops, if you see, it created 10 edges because we created the last time. So right click on the option box, reset tool, so now it will be fine. I'm waiting for to see inside the wireframe. If I hit 3, So now we created the side part. So what I'm going to do now is create the top part. So I'm going here, waiting for. So sometimes, okay, no, I'm just gonna eyeball it. There's a advanced technique I want to show you guys, but I'm gonna show you in the next one. So at the top, it's kind of ends up like that. I'm going to extrude this, and I'm doing it. I'm going extrude edge again, and I'm scaling it again, and right click, merge collapse edge, and merge edges to the center. So now I have a full shape. So now what I'm going to do is select all this edge, and I'm going to bevel edge, and it beveled not that good, so I'm going to do Control A and go to bevel edge, and I'm going to change the fraction. So I'm going to say 0.2 works fine, and I want probably 2 seconds there, 3 seconds there. So now if I smooth it, it's a really good shape. But the bottom, it's kind of like messed up for me, so I'm extruding it again, and I'm going edge loop tool and adding that supporting edges. So now if I see, we got it. So but still we have to do certain things, and there's a shape comes out of it, so I'm going to extrude. Like if you see, it went on this side. If I do it, it's gonna be going towards the normal, so I'm hitting it again, so it kind of goes this side. Okay, and there you go. So now if I smooth it, this edges. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull this in so that we can have that shape. So I'm going insert edge loop tool, adding supporting edge there, and boom. So now we have that shape and everything, but like in the diagram, it's kind of have like shape like that. So I'm going to pull this up. I'm going to delete this edge. I'm going to pull this up, pull this up, pull this up. Okay, so now if I see, it kind of looks like a really good shape, and I'm adding a supporting edge tool too. So okay, so now I got the shape and everything was perfect. But one thing is, I don't need that shape. Okay, so now I'm going to add one more shape, which connects this shape to the bottom shape. So what I'm going to do is, and I select that one, and oops, shift right click, extrude face, and pull this off, and I want to connect this shape to this shape, so extrude face again, and if I hit, okay, so it's kind of like connected there now. So I'm adding so I'm also adding something like that. So okay, now you know what, I'm going to make like a one shape because it's kind of looks wonky. So I'm gonna okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this, so I'm going to, so I select all the edges. I'm going to deselect these edges. I'm going to do extrude edge, and once I extruded, I press W to go on the center, and I'm going all the way down. So if you see isolate, so do you see like a angle here? So if you click on a geode, if you click on it, it isolate the selection. So you can work on this piece, for now. So you don't have to worry about anything else. So if I click this back, and everything comes back. So I'm going to click on this, and I'm also seeing there is something I want a smoother shape, so that's why I deleted the edges. I don't want it. So now if you see, I'm deleting this edge, and I can delete this edge too, and I can delete, no, I don't want to delete that. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create edge loop tool matching to this edge, and I'm going to delete this edge as well. And then now I'm going to select these edges and extrude it and pull it down till the end and match it there. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to select everything, right click, merge vertices. So when you see when I merge vertices, everything kind of like get wonky because the distance between the vertices is not right. So I'm going to the history, it was 0.1, so I'm going to change 001. So now it fixes everything and everything is merged properly. But for some reason, I think it's not merged at the bottom, so I'm going to select both. Merge vertices and merge vertices to the center, and same thing, I'm selecting both and pressing G to repeat the operation. So there you go. So but if I smooth it, see, like this is happening. To avoid that, we have to add some supporting edges there, and now if I smooth it, it has a good shapes towards it. So now if I go to the shape, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to extrude, press W and scale it down inside. And now I'm going to insert edge loop tool, adding some supporting loops. So now if I smooth it, boom, so now it kind of looks like that. But as per the concept or the diagram, this is kind of like 1 by 3. So now, and I'm also seeing, I'm going to do these shapes. I'm going to create a cube, and I'm going to what I'm going to do. So I'm going to duplicate around here. So that's what I'm going to do now. So what I'm going to do is okay. So I'm going to create a cube. So it's right there. So I'm going to select this cube and my cylinder, and I'm going to isolate it. So I'm going on the top view, I'm going to do the same thing. So I select and I'm pressing space, so it's there. So now I'm also changing the wireframe on shaded. So what I'm doing is, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to change this cube and put it kind of like there, and I'm going to scale it down, because this is a small shape, and I'm going to go there, and I'm pressing F to zoom in, or else I'm zooming in now. Okay, so now on the front view, I'm going to, it kind of ends there. So from the next modeling tutorial, I'm going to show the snapping techniques, and it will be really fun to learn. So I'll show you, and you'll be. I also did some. I'm also going to show some sneak peek what I'm going to doing next week, or else day after tomorrow. So now I've created a shape, kind of like that, and I'm going to move it outside to. Okay, so now if I go on the top here, I need 4 to see the wireframe. So once I have the shape, press Insert on a keyboard. So now it changes to a small square, small aqua time. I'm also going to play some music as well. I don't know why my Godfather. Oh, my Godfather music lab. Okay, So I'm going to, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the technique to rotate around the cylinder. That's what I'm going to do now. So to do that, so you have to duplicate around the cylinder. So to do that, you have to change the pivot. Pivot points are nothing but in Maya. Wait a second, I have to drink some water. So press insert to change the pivot point and hold on V as in vector or vertices, and hold on to V and snap it to the middle. So press W. So now if I rotate it, it's gonna be rotating around that axis. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to, if you see there is a translate y and x, so I'm going to modify, freeze the transformation so it's 0 0 0, and what I'm going to do, you can do Control D and move it like that. So let's say 5. So if you move it like that, you have to do so now you have to do 10. You can move manually and it's going to take a while for you, and it's mind-boggling. So to do this faster, you go to Edit, Duplicate Special, and reset your settings, and if you move, it's moving on Y. So you want to move, okay, let's say it's really closer, so I'm going to move 2 degree on every time. So 2 degree on y-axis, so I'm going to say 2 here, and so it's 360 divided by 2, so that's like 180 copies. So we already have 1, so it should be 179, and press apply. So now you see it's created that shape closer to everything, and close it. But now I want like from year to year, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to hold on control and deselect everything and press delete. And okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going oops, so edit, duplicate special, and press apply, close it. So it ends there as well as it ends there, probably this one, and I want this one too. And so now I have to deselect this one and select other stuff. So to do that, hold on shift and select everything, and it also select everything, so I'm holding on control and I only selected this one, so I'm hitting delete and press space, and boom, now we have that. So yeah, now we got it, we done it. So now it's got a different object, so I'm going to my this is called outliner. So whenever you create an object, it's going to be stored as here, so the p cube. So I'm going to select all these cubes, and I'm going to where's combine, so I'm going to combine it, so it's one polygon now, but still it stores all the information here. So I'm going to edit, delete by history. So now we have all the 3 shapes now. So I think this is disconnected. I don't know. I didn't do it right, so I'm going to I'm going to pull it in. So I'm also creating the shape to have I'm also seeing there are certain shapes it's not matching it properly, so I'm going to change that. But if I do for production, it's gonna be super crispy, and this is like a sample one, so I didn't do that much. So now if you see, we made this the like a toothpaste really fast and easier without any problem. And there you go, guys. This is my first part. So in the second part, I'm going to be going through some advanced techniques like how to snap to vertices and how to model professionally as well. And I'm going to show you guys what I'm going to do next week. And I'm going to call it toothpaste. But if you have any questions for this week, you can email me. I'm going to show my email address. So what I'm going, okay, so I'm creator plane. So if you want to, if you have any questions or anything, you can feel free to ask. Or if you want to learn something about it, if you want to see anything in Maya, or if you don't understand anything from the stuff I did, you can also contact me as well. So I'll help you. Um, so my email address I'm going to share with you soon. And I don't know, sometimes I try to do something professionally, and that's what I'm trying to. What I'm going to do, I'm going to light it so that you guys can see how it's going to look like. I'm using V-Ray. Uh, so soon I'll be sharing my contact details. So you guys have any questions or anything, feel free to ask. So I'll be help you guys. And if I have a lot of uh, users, and I might start doing a lot of Q&A as well. And let me know what you think about this tutorial. If anything I can improve on it. This is my first time doing it, and I have no idea what I did or anything, and you guys can let me know whatever you want. And I'm going to change the V-Ray, so I'm just going to run it fast so that I can you can see, like, how it ended up as well.